Hello students, this is your Mr. GST CA Vishnuvardhan. So in this video we are going to quickly revise the concept TDS and TCS. Before going to the concept, first of all everybody will have a doubt regarding the section number and the TDS TCS rates here. So just to remember that, I'll give you a small technique here. TDS section 51, TCS section 52. So because the section number here is ending with 1, remember the TDS rate is 2%. And here the section number is ending with 2. Remember the percent is 1, not 3, 1. Okay, so TDS section 51 percentage is 2, TCS section 52 percentage is 1. That means CGST SGST 1% plus 1% here. Here CGST and SGST 0.5 plus 0.5%, that is the section number and the rates. So remember TDS rate is section 51, so rate is 2%, TCS section 52 rate is 1%, right? So let us quickly go into when TDS TCS will come into picture. Just like your income tax, here also in GST we have a concept of TDS and TCS, and how they actually operate there. Here also almost it is going to work in the same manner. So let us understand that. First, before going to TDS, I'll just tell you how it will be operated, and then I'll discuss about that. First, let us take an example. See TDS, how it will be operated. Now first of all, TDS will come into picture when? TDS will come into picture, listen carefully, only when the contract value is greater than 2,50,000. So if the contract value, I am not talking about the invoice value, the payment, etc., etc. I am talking about the contract value. When we are entering into contract, sir, with whom we are entering into contract, that is important, sir. We are entering into contract with a government department or a government establishment, or with a local authority, or with a governmental agency, or with any authority or board which is set up by government, parliament, state government, all that stuff. And with 51% or more is with the government. So in simple terms we can say it is government authorities or boards. Sir, these people, or we are entering into contract with the government societies, or we are entering into contract with public sector undertaking. I repeat, when TDS will come into picture, you are entering into contract and the contract value is greater than 2,50,000. With whom we are entering into the contract? Government departments or establishments, local authorities or governmental agencies, or government authorities on boards, government societies or public sector undertaking. With these people, if you enter into contract, I repeat, contract value greater than 2,50,000, not the payment. So then TDS will come into picture, and these people, understand, these people are supposed to deduct TDS while they are making payment to you. For example, I am a contractor who got a contract to construct a road with a local authority or some government. Okay, so now when I got a contract to construct a road, the contract price is, let us assume the contract value is 10 lakhs. It is greater than 2,50,000. It is exceeding 2,50,000. Now because the contract value is exceeding 2,50,000, please understand, every time when the local authority is making payment to me, contract value is 10 lakhs, but they might be making a payment to me, like for example, I started the work, they have given a check to me for 1 lakh rupees, 50,000, 40,000, whatever it is. Whenever they are making the payment, now because the contract value has exceeded 2,50,000, for each payment they have to deduct TDS. Whether it is 10 rupees or 10 lakh rupees or 1 lakh rupee, whatever, contract value exceeding 2,50,000, right away TDS provisions will come into picture. So now when I am constructing the road, the local authority, for example, see, contract value is 10 lakh rupees plus GST 18%, imagine. Then sir, now local authority, I gave an invoice to the local authority, sir, I have did some work, sir, give me some payment. So I'm asking them a payment of 1 lakh plus GST. I gave an invoice to them 1 lakh plus GST, because you know invoice value can be whatever it is, but it should be the contract value greater than 2,50,000. Contract value is greater than 2,50,000. So while asking for the 1 lakh payment, what the local authority will do is, I'm asking 1 lakh plus GST 18,000. So they have to deduct 2% TDS. They have to deduct 2% TDS, assuming CGST, SGST scenario. This is if it is interstate supply, CGST, SGST. If it is interstate supply, GST will be the thing. So you know TDS rate is 2%. Out of this 1 lakh, they will deduct 2%. See, TDS should be deducted on the taxable value, not on the invoice value. That means including GST, you should not deduct TDS. After excluding GST only, the amount whatever is there, on that we have to deduct TDS. Okay, so now local authority while making the payment to me, they will deduct 2% TDS. So they will pay to me, the contractor, 98,000. They will deduct GST 1%, SGST 1%, 1000 rupees, 1000 rupees. Now this deducted amount, the local authority has to pay to the GST department by filing a return called GSTR 7 every month on or before 10th of that next month, and they will pay me that 98,000, and they will also pay me the 18% GST is there. No, this 18% GST they will pay to me. So they will pay to the contractor 98,000 after deducting the TDS plus 18,000. Totally they will pay to the contractor 1,16,000. So as a contractor, what I will do? I will file my GSTR1 and I will file my GSTR3B. I will pay this 18,000 to the department. My responsibility is clear. Here coming to TDS, that is coming to see the local authority's responsibility. Local authority has deducted 2% TDS here, that 1000 CGST, SGST. The local authority will file a return called GSTR 7 every month before 10th of the next month, and whatever the 2000 deducted now from my payment, that amount they will be depositing with GST department, and that 2000 will be reflected in the e-cash ledger of the contractor. So that is how TDS will work. Clear? So just like income tax TDS only, this is how TDS will work. And now coming to the point, who shall deduct TDS? We have understood TDS will be deducted by government department, government establishments, local authority, government agencies, government authorities or government bodies, government societies, and public sector undertakings. These people, if they are supposed to make payment, they have to follow TDS provisions, provided the contract value with them what you have entered is greater than 2,50,000. Clear? There are some other key points here in that we will discuss and finish. That's all. TDS will be over. You can just straight away proceed with the problems, right? Now one interesting thing is, if the transaction itself is happening between a government department and another government department, or one local authority to another governmental agencies, that means we have seen section 51 is applicable for these 6 people, correct? Among these 6 people, if anything is happening, TDS provisions will not come. That is what the next one, persons not liable to deduct TDS. But between people covered under section 51 itself, any transaction is happening, contract value is greater than 2,50,000, still TDS provisions are not applicable in that case, right? Next, obviously we have discussed this. When TDS shall be applicable, the taxable supply under single contract, if it is exceeding 2,50,000, exceeding, that means it should be greater than 2,50,000, not greater than or equal to. Please remember that it is greater than 2,50,000, not greater than. That means even if it is equal to 2,50,000, TDS provisions are not applicable, right? And TDS rate we have discussed, sir. It is 1% CGST, 1% SGST, guys. So here just make a correction, it is 2%, that is 1% plus 1% will be the TDS rate. Clear? That is one thing. Next, when TDS need not be deducted, this is very important point. When TDS need not be deducted, see, understand, remember there are 3 people here. One is location of the supplier, place of supply, where recipient is registered. Sir, location of supplier, place of supply is in one particular state, and recipient is registered in a different state. Then TDS provisions will not come into picture. Remember, location of supplier, place of supply, recipient registered. These 3 locations are in the same state or same union territory, no problem, TDS will come. If all the 3 are in different states or different union territories, also no problem, TDS will come. But location of supplier and place of supply is in one state, and the recipient is located in another state, registration of recipient is another state, then TDS provisions will not come because of the technical reasons. Why? Because see, for example, here look at this second case. Suppose, imagine location of supplier is in Karnataka, place of supply is also falling in Karnataka. Now you tell me, when location of the supplier and place of supply is falling in Karnataka, you call it as what? You call it as intrastate supply. And what that person, the supplier, will charge in the invoice? The supplier will charge CGST plus Karnataka state GST. if you are understanding, supplier will see, supplier when he is issuing the invoice to you, he will see location of supplier, place of supply, both are in Karnataka. So according to supplier, it is interstate supply. In the invoice, what he will charge in the invoice, he will charge CGST plus Karnataka GST. So when he is charging CGST plus Karnataka GST, what will happen? Recipient who has to make the payment, that is maybe the government authority, government agencies, whatever it is, recipient has to deduct TDS. Recipient cannot deduct TDS which is not given in the invoice. That means in the invoice, if it is CGST plus SGST, recipient should deduct CGST, SGST only. In the invoice, if it is IGST, recipient should deduct IGST only. Now tell me, sir, when the recipient is located, for example, located in Tamil Nadu, if the recipient is located in Tamil Nadu, the recipient should deduct TDS, CGST and Karnataka GST and should deposit that to the Karnataka state government, and it should be reflected in the supplier's cash ledger. When the recipient is in Tamil Nadu, registered in Tamil Nadu, how can he make payment to Karnataka state government? So technically speaking, this cannot be done. This cannot be done. I am just telling you the logic behind that provision. Please understand. When recipient is in Tamil Nadu, supplier is in Karnataka, and supplier is charging what? CGST plus Karnataka GST. If supplier has charged IGST in the invoice, happily I would have deducted IGST and I would have deposited. But recipient is supposed to see here, like is getting CGST plus Karnataka GST, recipient is in Tamil Nadu. Recipient cannot take that TDS, he cannot deduct TDS and give to Karnataka state government because recipient is from Tamil Nadu. That is the reason they are saying here, if recipient is registered in separate state, location of supplier and place of supply, these two things are falling in one particular state, TDS provisions will not come into picture. Am I clear? So that is what the point. So that is what I have simplified in the table here using this table. Yes, you can just go through that, right? So what is the value of supply, sir? How to calculate the value? Value is nothing but whatever has been amount indicated in the invoice. As I told you already, please exclude taxes and deduct TDS. TDS should be deducted only on the value given in the invoice, excluding taxes, right? Okay, so next, and I repeat, that is only on taxable values, not on exempt values. So TDS will not apply on exempt supplies. TDS will not come into picture on exempt supplies. Let me just write down that point. Please understand, write down one key point anywhere where you are comfortable with. TDS not applicable for exempt supplies, and also TDS is not applicable for unregistered person. Not applicable if supplier is unregistered. If supplier is unregistered also, TDS will not come into picture, right? So that is what the point. Okay, as we have discussed, due date for depositing the tax is 10th of the next month, and once recipient deducts the TDS and make payment to the GST department by filing GSTR 7, so he will be giving a TDS certificate called GSTR 7A, and that will have GST certificate number, the TDS certificate number, the GSTN of the deductor, that is the recipient, name of the deductor, GSTN of the deductee, that means that contractor in that example, his legal name, all that stuff. So you can just go through that. And as I already told you, government is deducting the TDS and paying to GST department, that will be reflected in the e-cash ledger of the deductee, that is the contractor in the example, right? So remaining things, yes, you can just manage. So that is what all about TDS concept. And registration under section 51, yes, when TDS provisions are applicable, that is for these people for whom TDS provisions are applicable, these people are liable to get registered under GST because they are supposed to deduct tax from the payments and has to pay it to the GST department. So for these people, taking GST registration is mandatory, right? So that is what all about TDS. Keeping all these key points in mind, you can just straight away proceed with the problems. You can just refer ICA study material or any other question bank, whatever it is. So just go with the problems.